What's going on? Brian Tong here, and I did a deep dive preview of what to expect with the entire iPhone 17 lineup earlier here. So let's get into another product that will have significant changes in about a month during Apple's fall event, and that's the Apple Watch. And the biggest changes are coming to the Apple Watch Ultra 3. So last year we didn't get a new Ultra, but just a black finish for the Ultra 2. And this time, the Ultra 3 is going to be a different beast. The 2-year wait is going to pay off because we're expecting a lot of bigger upgrades. So let's start with the display. Mac Rumors contributor Aaron Paris went digging in the iOS 26 beta and found Apple Watch files with a 422 by 514 resolution for a display that doesn't match any current models. The Ultra 2 currently has a 410 by 502 resolution, which indicates the Apple Watch Ultra 3 will likely have a slightly larger display in the same case size. And on a display that's small like a watch, even a little bit of increased size makes a big difference. That's also what I tell myself. Apple is also rumored to be using a wide-angle OLED display panel for the Ultra 3 that enables it to be brighter when viewed from an angle, with an even higher refresh rate for an always-on display mode. Now, health sensors have always been a place that drives innovation for Apple Watch, and there have been plenty of rumors that Apple has been aiming to bring blood pressure monitoring in time for the Ultra 3. It won't give exact readings though, but detect blood pressure trends and then offer recommendations for seeking out medical help if it finds any issues. Now, blood pressure monitoring still has not been confirmed by any reputable sources, and we're just a month out, so although it's been rumored, it's still up in the air. Another major feature that multiple outlets are agreeing on is that the new Ultra will bring satellite connectivity for sending and receiving text messages when you don't have a Wi-Fi or a cellular connection. We were first introduced to it on the iPhone 14, that was back in 2022, and it's now expected to come to the Apple Watch Ultra 3 for the very first time. And this is a huge upgrade for people who go off the grid but still need some form of communication for emergencies or to loved ones. And if we're talking about communications, the Apple Watch Ultra 3 is also expected to get 5G support for the first time, which would be an upgrade from its current LTE connection on the Ultra 2. A new report also says Apple accidentally leaked some internal information about the upcoming chip in the Apple Watch Series 11, Ultra 3, and Apple Watch SE 3. It's been revealed that it will have the same T8310 architecture that's in the S9 and S10 chips found in the Series 9 and Series 10 Apple Watch models. Those use two sawtooth performance cores that are found in the A16 Bionic chip, so it's still more than enough power for a wearable device. It's a 64-bit dual-core processor with a 4-core neural engine, second-generation ultra-wideband support, and 64 gigs of storage. Even if the underlying technology is the same, there could be some tweaks or improvements in its size to take up less space in the Apple Watch and create more space for the battery. I'd also be the first person to say I haven't had any major issues with performance on an Apple Watch in years, so having the same level of chip isn't a deal breaker. But what we're all hoping for one day is a significant jump in battery life, even if something this small does so many things. Kind of like me as well. All right, I get it, but a significant boost in battery life overall is always a good thing for any wearable. We don't know what colors they will offer, but Apple likes to play it safe, so it's a pretty good guess that the Ultra 3 will come in natural titanium and black titanium for the colors. But if you're in the market for a new Apple Watch, the Apple Watch Ultra 3 is going to be a very compelling upgrade with all these rumored updates. Now, the Apple Watch Ultra 2 currently starts at $799 before you get crazy with the watch band, so we are expecting the same for this year as well. All right, we'll get to what we know about the Apple Watch Series 11, but before we do, let's take a breather to thank the sponsor of this video, Lineage. Lineage is a complete rechargeable battery system that uses AA and AAA lithium-ion batteries and a smart charger station. Each battery offers up to 3,600 milliwatt hours and can be recharged 1,200 times to cut waste and save money. Plus, they come in fun colors. Now, they charge in 3 hours, which is half the time compared to the most commonly used nickel metal hydride rechargeable batteries. Lineage batteries work with everyday devices like your television remotes, or a flashlight, or game controllers, and a whole lot more. You can even see how long-lasting Lineage batteries are in this breakdown compared to other battery chemistries. Even better, I've tried using other rechargeable batteries in the past with my kitchen trash can, but they don't provide a strong enough voltage at 1.2 volts to work. Lineage batteries do at 1.5 volts, and that's a game changer for me. The Lineage charger can still handle AA and AAA batteries of multiple chemistries and works with brands like EBL, Amazon Basics, and more, so you don't need to get rid of your older ones. And it features battery health testing with indicator lights for bad cells and healthy batteries. Once a battery is fully charged, it drops down into its built-in storage tray that holds up to 40 batteries. It also features an e-ink display that tracks your CO2 savings with a growing tree animation. It's made from eco-friendly recyclable materials and packaged without plastics. You can back Lineage on Kickstarter at the link in the description and claim free batteries while supplies last. Okay, let's get back to talking Apple Watch Series 11, and the rumored upgrades are going to be a little different with also some similarities as well. There have been no reports about a new form factor or design, and I don't really think they need to do one. It's still the best-selling smartwatch, and they still only have about a 20 to 25% adoption rate from Apple users the last time reports came out, which still means it has room to grow. Now, there were rumors of a new magnetic band attachment system that would potentially make all the watch bands that we invested in unusable, but there's been no signs of that last year, and those rumblings have quieted down to almost nothing. Now, this year also marks the 10th anniversary of the Apple Watch, and at one time, there were rumors that Apple would debut some sort of special anniversary edition of the Apple Watch. We're not expecting anything like that this year, but I would guess they would at least acknowledge it. Like, I'd love for the porcelain white Apple Watch to make a comeback because it's just so rare to see them in the wild, and it was so nice back with the Series 5. Now, the Series 11 is expected to get an updated S11 chip with potentially more compact and more efficient design and rumors of more space to increase battery capacity and battery life. The Series 11 is also rumored to adopt a new modem from MediaTek with 5G RedCap support. Now, 5G RedCap, this is a 5G service that's designed specifically for wearables that don't demand the same level of high bandwidth on a standard 5G connection that something like our phones or tablets might require. It could also help with better battery efficiency because it requires less to use it. We talked earlier about Apple still working on blood pressure monitoring for their entire Apple Watch lineup, but it remains unclear if we'll see it here in 2025. Of course, we're expecting to get the new watchOS 26 features that Apple showcased at WWDC, like a new workout buddy that is made to motivate you and talk to you and hype you up during your workouts. It will also get a liquid glass redesign, but I said it when it was first announced that out of any of Apple devices out there, a small screen like Apple Watch just has a harder time showcasing the new aesthetic compared to something with a larger display like an iPhone, an iPad, or even on an Apple TV. In iOS 26 code, Mac Rumors found that Apple is working on a sleep score feature for the Apple Watch. Now, I'm no sleep doctor, but it will take into account multiple health metrics and vitals to build a sleep score for you. I always had trouble wearing an Apple Watch while I sleep. I never get comfortable with it, and that's why I wear a smart ring instead, because I can't really feel it at all. That helps me go to sleep.
Newsflash, everyone, Apple will introduce a redesigned blood oxygen feature for some Apple Watch Series 9, Series 10, and Apple Watch Ultra 2 users through an iPhone and Apple Watch software update that is coming later today. So by the time you see this, it's going to be out already. Users with these models in the US who currently do not have the blood oxygen feature will now have access to the redesigned blood oxygen feature. You need to update your iPhone to iOS 18.6.1. And you also need to update your Apple Watch to watchOS 11.6.1. These do need to be paired. Now, following this update, sensor data from the blood oxygen app on Apple Watch will be measured and calculated on that paired iPhone, and then you can see the results in the respiratory section of the health app. But this update was recently enabled by a US customs ruling. So no impact to Apple Watch units that are previously purchased that had the original blood oxygen feature. Again, Apple saying some Apple Watch Series 9, Series 10, and Apple Watch Ultra 2 will now get this new redesigned blood oxygen feature, and that's a win for everybody.
Now, it's been a little more quiet for the next third generation Apple Watch SE. Reports claim we are still expecting to see it this year, and it could potentially ditch its aluminum casing for a more rigid plastic casing, according to Bloomberg's Mark Gurman back in March of this year. That would allow it to come maybe in at an even lower price point, and maybe Apple can really have some fun with those colors. It will also get a new processor inside, and maybe it gets a new health feature like sleep apnea detection, which already exists on higher-end Apple Watch models. Now, reports say we should expect its debut alongside the Apple Watch Ultra 3 and the Series 11 when they're announced this September at Apple's fall event. There is still so much more to talk about leading up to the event. Hey, I'll keep an eye out to see if I get invited back this year. Wink, wink. But until then, I'm honestly, I don't know. I'm just hoping. But until then, I'll keep bringing all the coverage for you. All right, that's going to do it for this video. If you like what you see, give me that thumbs up, subs up, and hit that notification bell, ding, to get all my latest videos when they drop. And if you want more of that Apple goodness, you can check out my weekly Apple Bits XL audio podcast with the latest stories and special guests. Plus, you can all support my content with an ad-free version of the podcast, early access to my content, and exclusive content at patreon.com/BrianTong. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and we'll see you on the next video. Peace and love.